What's up, guys? This is going to be a video on how I got to 10 million honor in a week. And first things first, let's talk about the three kinds of builds, right? There's fruit, there's gun, and there is sword. So there's also hybrid builds, right? But we're not going to talk about those in this video. Let me know if you want, like, do that in the future. Just comment, right? And I'll make a video on that. First things first, let's talk about fruit. There's a couple different categories. There's spam fruit, right? Yeti, Leo, Kitsune, Dragon. A lot of these transforming fruits for spam, for running, very strong, very good, right? I personally, if you're trying to get better at the game, don't recommend them. But let's destroy this fallacy first that, spammers are no skill. Higher bounty spammers a lot of time will have skill or have some kind of cheese combo or something, right? But I personally don't recommend using it. It's very cheap and you won't get that much better at the game, but you will get somewhat better, right? All right, let's talk about other fruits. Dough, it's kind of a spammy fruit, great for combos, breaks your Ken, right? Ice as well. You can actually Ken trick out of it if you have your Ken off before. A lot of times for fighting an ice user, don't have your Ken on until they first freeze you. Turn it on when they have the little blizzard move, right? Other good fruits, Shadow, Spirit, stuff like that. The new gas fruit's pretty spammy too, so it's just transformation, right? And yeah, diamond fruit's great for sword main. If you go V4, you can use the diamond abilities too, especially the V where you're comboing with sword, does a lot of extra damage. Dark, ice, stuff like that, great for PvP. Portal, great for PvP, but I'd recommend it for a gun main or sword main, especially sword mains. And it's good for running, it's good for playing defensively, it's good for air camping, it's good for playing on the ground, it's good for trapping runners, it's good for just overall having great mobility, overall catching people, overall running. And I know some people hate on running, some people hate on like trapping people or with Portal, right? I'm not saying spam Portal V. You can, not saying to do that though, but you could, right? And these are just some of the things I learned for fruits. There's other to talk about, but let's get right into sword, right? For sword, you can use Gravity Blade with God Human if you're new to the game, right? That's what I personally recommend if you're a 2.5. You'll learn the basics of PvP. You can't really Ken trick the moves. It's overall very good, easy combo to do, right? There's other combos on YouTube, but that's what I would recommend to start with. You can use Dragon Trident as well. Stay back, more timid, get that chip damage, especially if you have Blessing of the Sea on it. Great blessing. I'll talk about blessings and chance in another video. But yeah, overall, Sword Main is very good. I would also recommend like CDK. God Human's good with everything. Sanguine Dart's good with almost everything. And I'd argue it's better than God Human, especially for the heal. It's very strong. And yeah, I would also say you could use a mobility fruit, Rumble, Portal. You could use a stun fruit like Ice, Dark with Sword. Lots of combinations you could use. Lots of different things. Let's talk about utility with Portal and Rumble for a second, right? If someone sneaks you or cheeses you or whatever, don't feel bad for running away. You could try to fight back and kill them, but if they get you really low or something, or hit you with a dirty one-shot combo, but you survive because Shark, Angel, whatever, right? Cyborg, and you run, don't feel bad. If it's a fair 1v1 and you guys agreed to 1v1 though, I would personally not recommend running. If you're losing, just take the L. It'll make you better at the game over time as you're actually learning how to play and aim, and fighting better players. Also take better fights, don't just farm 2.5 mils. You can, but I would recommend actually PvPing people. But alright, right on to guns. I'll make this one quick. Guns are mostly for skilled players, right? You need good aim generally. For example, you wouldn't really use solo guitar as a gun main. You'd probably use like acid rifle or the new dragon minigun. Both very good options, right? For just, PvP. As long as you have some good aim, use kombucha. I wouldn't recommend it as a gun main, but you could mainly use for combo, same as soul guitar. You could use it to play defensively and use the soul guitar moves like, X and Z defensively or offensively. It really depends. But I'd be careful spamming that, it doesn't really make you good at the game to do so, but I would involve it in your kit, especially if you're like Sword, Portal, or something, Diamond. Just get used to using it, learn how to use it, and learn how to play against it, right? There's a bit of an after effect of it. Also, be careful, for example, against a Portal in Second C, right? And if they have Hollow Sight, then you chase them through a Portal, right? They might be camping the lava, hit you with that, dirty Portal move. Or they might hit you with a Portal Z, combo you into the Portal, and then hit you with the Hollow Sight, killing you. Lots of stuff you have to watch out for, right? Also, if you follow them in like a little remote area, let's say you're a Yeti or Dragon, I'm not saying they're wrong for doing that, but if you follow them to the portal, prepare yourself. You might get cheesed. It just happens, right? And then let's talk about the races now. So Dragon Race V4, let's get that out the way real quick. Absolutely broken, very good. Would 100% recommend if you have the time to grind it out or you already have it. great. The V3 for it's great as well. It can lock abilities, reduce their defense. Overall, just very, very good. Buff your allies, nerf your enemies, right? V2 is good. You get extra health from Draco Race. You get, all those benefits, right? The little bit extra defense. You get that little fly for going in the air. Great for sky camping. Overall, a very good race. I'd say number one in the game. Let's talk about Ghoul and Angel. I see them mostly hand in hand. I'd say Ghoul's probably a little better, right? For the speed you get. But let's talk about Ghoul first. The cooldown's very good for spam for its Yeti, Leopard, Dragon, right? Overall, just spamming a lot, right? It's good for sword, that cooldown reduction, a little bit of speed. The regen you get off melee attacks, especially with Sanguine Art, you'll get a crazy amount of health back. A crazy amount, right? And let's talk about Curse of the Reaper while we're at it, right? If you can get that enchant, I would recommend getting it, right? Very OP. You can use it with Lei as well, or Kitsune Ribbon. I like Kitsune Ribbon, right? But very rare enchantment. Most time people have to pay like real money and like Robux to get it, right? But if you manage to grind enough Leviathan, you can get your hands in it. Great, would recommend. Same as Burning Blessing, absolutely broken. And any other blessing on your sword for the most part, keep. Electric's probably the worst, but it's still better than no blessing at all, right? If you get your hands in it, keep it, right? Um, Now let's talk about, you know, the Ghoul Race V4. If you see someone pop that and you don't have your V4, I would recommend running for the most part. Because if they're getting any kind of damage on you, especially if they're like a Yeti or Leopard, they're going to keep healing. You're going to have a bad time, right? They're very fast, especially if they don't have domain expansion. If they're dashing on you too, that's going to deal a crazy amount of damage. 1,000 damage, 2,000 damage a dash. It's wild, right? So be very careful. They also get that cooldown plus their V3 cooldown. They can basically have a 20% cooldown, infinite abilities. Very broken. Very good heal on all its attacks. To be very careful of that one. Let's go to Angel. V1 and V2 is kind of useless, right? Good. I guess it's okay for air camping. V3 is great. You can survive some combos with it. It's not as good as Cyborg or Fishman at surviving specific one-shot combos, but it's still pretty good. Especially if you're playing like higher in the air against sky camping, or you're playing back, you're playing more defensively and ranged, right? It's great as long as you're, using it properly. Gives you 15% defense and 20% of your health. If you use it with Kitsune Ribbon, it gives you a bit more health back. And if you're using it with Lei, it gives you up to 30% of your health back. Very good overall, right? V4, great for stopping combos, great for dealing damage, great for running, great for sky camping. Overall, just absolutely busted. If someone pops Angel V4 on you, and you don't have V4, I'd recommend just run. Genuinely, just run. Like, you're probably gonna have a bad time unless you're winning and they're super low and you're full HP. But even then, be extremely careful. If they get you in a combo lacking, you're probably gonna get one shot, even if you're a 30 mil, 20 mil, whatever. Just be careful with that one, right? Next up, right? I'm gonna talk about Shark. Shark V one, Shark V2, great. Especially if you're in this like playing a lot near the sea. People are glitching you under the map. Like if that one dragon move that can glitch you under the map, I forgot what it's called, but it's like little grab shit and it can hit you under the map, especially like at mansion. For example, you can hit under the map and go in the water. Very miserable if that happens to you, right? The only real escape is portal at that point. But or you can flash step over it. There's also a good like no clip with flash step. I could teach you guys that. You could just look it up on YouTube though. But I'll be making tutorials and all this stuff and just tips and tricks, right? And Shark V3, let's talk about that. Well, V2, obviously, you don't take any damage in water. You're a bit faster swimming. It's good. V3, great for surviving combos. If they delay their combo, though, or they use a bait move on you and you use it, you might be cooked, chat. But yeah, overall, V3 very good. It's like 65% damage reduction. You can survive a lot of one-shot combos with that. Very good. Um, Now let's talk about V4. Shark V4 is good. It's not amazing, but it's very good. It gives you that, Leviathan shield. It gives you the slow. Um, very good overall. And you reduce their defense when you're hitting them, and they get the little whirlpool. They get slow. It's hard from the run, especially if you mix that with the slow enchantment on your sword or something. They're gonna have a bad time trying to run away. They're gonna have a bad time, having movement. And they're gonna have less defense. So overall, very good. Especially if you've got the rage enchantment, the rage enchantment unique. Very good. Chase people down. Good job. Like you're gonna probably kill them. They're not gonna have mobility. Let's talk about the Leviathan shield. It reduces 60% or like 80% of damage on your HP bar, right? When you get hits, you get that little blue bar in front of it. It gives you more defense essentially because they're gonna hit you and they're gonna hit that first. If you're fighting a shark user, yeah. Again, if anyone's in V4, probably run if you're not in V4 or you don't have it close, right? But if not, and you are in V4, or you think you'd beat him anyway, which you might be able to, right? I'm not that skilled. I'm not gonna lie. I'm good. Like, I'd say I'm a little bit better than the average player. Honestly, I'm not that good. I'm trying to get there though, right? I'm trying to learn tips myself. I'm making this video to help players who are new like me or newer to PvP to get good quick, to get bounty, to get honor, to like, get Sea Beast, all that kind of stuff, right? All right. Let's let's talk about it, right? Cyborg. Cyborg is pretty busted. The V2 is amazing. It gives you 10% damage reduction from sword, melee, and gun. Overall, very great. Cyborg V3, absolutely busted. Probably the best V3 in the game. 30% damage reduction. You get the tick damage. It breaks Ken, the V3. Very good. It lasts a while. Overall, very good. You can stop a lot of one-shot combos with it. You can stop Doe users too. It stuns them. Good way to counter Doe users. Hit him with some kind of stun. Hit him with the move. It's called, you know, Cyborg V3 is essentially like great for one-shot combos, right? You could on the enemy, right? Because you can hit him with like Gravity Cane, for example, into God Human, and absolutely cook him up, right? With V3, does a lot of damage. Great for tick damage. Does a percentage based health. You can look it up on the wiki. It's like 5,000 at max level, a bit more. It's very great. All right, let's talk about V4. Great for mobility, honestly. Great for insanely great for damage. Great for breaking Ken overall and great for teamers. Overall, very good. Um, let's now talk about human. Human V1, obviously same as Cyborg, useless, right? But V2 is pretty good. It gives you quicker flash steps. It gives you a little bit faster melee speed, a little bit faster movement. Pretty good. V3, arguably kind of useless. It's only really good in PvP. And like what I mean by good in PvP is you can use it like when you're low and sometimes get easier one targets for like 50% damage. We have to be really low. So I don't really recommend it. Probably the worst V3 in the game by a bit, but still okay, right? You can use the clutch. V4, great. Three flash steps. The damage meter. Overall, very good. Flash step makes you invisible. Careful with Leviathan shield, doesn't disappear on it. That might change in the future. I don't know, but currently not. And yeah, human V4, very good. Very good for damage, good for PvE as well. But now we're gonna talk about Mink. Mink, very good for runners, very good for catching runners, very good for mobility and dodging moves. Overall, very good. Mink V1 and 2, just pretty good actually. Mainly for just speed. You same like Angel, for example, you take less energy to jump, right? In the air. You don't really need it at max level. You're not gonna spend that much energy, especially if you're using something like Kitsune Ribbon or Cyborg. Obviously, like you won't be using Cyborg for the Angel energy, but yeah, you get what I'm saying. Mink takes less energy to dash, and you go further, and it gives you more speed. Very good overall, right? Now, V3, very good for running, very good for just movement overall, good for catching runners. Overall, great. Not the best, but great. Be careful though with one-shot combos and like people trying to one-shot you. You can use Portal defensively or Diamond or Buddha or whatever, right? But just be careful with that. Buddha Mink, very OP for chasing people down and wanting them, right? All right, let's get to the V4. V4, very good for running, very good for stunning people, right? That little tornado. Good with Kitsune and Leopard. Just pretty good. I'd say the worst V4 in the game, but overall pretty good. I mean, obviously, again, there's better V4s, but you can use it. You can make it work. I probably wouldn't recommend it, right? Just because of the, preset things, right? But it's still pretty good. And yeah, that's it for the races. And let's talk about PvP locations. You want to server hop at outside a cafe, look for people with your observation. You can use Pale Scarf, turn it on and off. I'd probably just server hop there though. Same as Mansion in Third Sea, I'd server hop there. Axe for PvP. You can run up on people grinding in Third Sea, but that's not gonna get you too much skill. You might have some good fights like that, but rarely. Most of the time, try and PvP people. And if you get absolutely cooked up by someone, and this is just for gaining bounty, right? If you get cooked up in a 1v1 fair 1v1, you don't have to run it back. Don't feel bad if you do. Same as if someone sneaks up on you or something and you run. Don't feel bad, man. Like, don't. Like, it happens. Like, just run. At that point, don't give them free bounty. You know, like, same as if you sneak up on someone, right? And they start running. Don't be surprised, right? Things to watch out for. Admiral, Emperor of the Sea title, Fleet Admiral, Warlord of the Sea. If you see that, even if they're low bounty on that, like 2.5 on the other, like Marine or Pirate or whatever, watch out. They are most likely pretty skilled at the game. Or have some kind of OPS build, and they're pretty good because let's spell this again. You could use an OP build, but like, it's not going to make the whole difference. You're still going to have some amount of skill. Again, for sword, like Gravity Cane, God Human, you need some kind of skill to use that at a higher level. And, you know, CDK, God Human, even Yeti Leopard, Ice Fruit with the little stun. Uh, Portal is kind of broken, I'm not gonna lie, same as Dragon, but you still need some amount of skill to use it. Like I've beaten Dragon users, especially with CDK has damage, like it ignores a lot of their damage reduction, especially if you have piercing enchantment on it, absolutely insane. Um, yeah. And for summoning CBs, again, I'll talk about that real quick. It's mainly used as a defensive tool. Like I was fighting this Yeti player the other day. He had Ghoul V4 on too. He was running, spamming his cooldowns, right? And he ran to the sea and started spamming, like summoning Sea Beast. They were stunning me, they were spamming me. Very annoying, great defensive tool, but it's not gonna change the battle most of the time, but it's good for defense to give you that little edge, right? And yeah, so if you want videos on any of this stuff, I'm going to be making more videos, like a tier list on each of the races, specifically for PvP. Probably going to make some PvE content too, but I'm currently 10.6 mil, and yeah, I mean, I've been enjoying PvP, and I hope this helped some people at least. I'm gonna be making more vids again on this. Please, if you have any questions, I'm gonna, make videos on how to counter each and like individual fruit, how to counter swords specifically, how to counter guns. I'm gonna try my best to just make it publicly available on how to do all this stuff and how to get bounty quicker, because I know that is a big ass grind, right? But yep, like I said before, all of you have a great day and peace out.